Welcome, everyone, to the Soultribe podcast. I'm Auntie Charmaine, where we value community, connection, devotion, herbalism, and all the other amazing things that brought our grandmothers together. We're keeping the traditions, and we are so excited to have you here with us.
Hey, Soultribe, it's Auntie here. I am here with the amazing, fantastic OG in the game of astrology, Molly McCord. Hi, Molly, sweetheart. How are you?
Hi. Hi, Charmaine. Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me here in your very sacred, beautiful space. I'm so excited to talk with you.
Listen, I have prepared myself for this moment and didn't even know it. I have been following Molly McCord for years on YouTube. And I never thought we would cross paths in this way because at that time my life was going in a totally different direction. But look at how spirit will do it.
I love it. I love those surprises and I love those connections when they arrive. So it's so good to meet you.
Yes, indeed, beloved. So today, everyone, we are talking about surviving the shakeup, navigating 2025 astrological weather with grace and grit. Okay, Molly, talk to the people. Why is this conversation so near and dear to your heart?
Okay, so first of all, let me ask you, are you bored? Because there's no reason to be bored right now. There's too much going on that is requiring us to be new versions of ourselves. Ready or not, we are doing it. We have been in it throughout all of 2025. And maybe you can even look back on what has come up for you this year that the universe, source, spirit, God has required you to make some important choices around, to be very brutally honest with yourself, and to acknowledge that this is coming up because there's more for you ahead. And I feel like that's a big part, Charmaine, of what this shakening and awakening is that there is more and better for us. But in order to get there, we've had to be very honest with ourselves around what can't go any further, what is not meant to move ahead, and the parts of ourselves that we are outgrowing. I think that 2025 is going to be a year. Like in the future, we look back and say, that's the year I made these choices or something became clearer to me about my path.
Wow. You know, I think I realized that when I got my astrology chart done. I always get it done in the beginning of every year. Then I get it done for my birthday because, you know, your whole solar return. And I realized something with this this year. Something in me was very clear that I was no longer the same person.
Yeah.
Like something in me, and I couldn't tell if it's because I'm in my 40s now and you know, stuff don't move like it used to, things don't jiggle like it used to, things don't, you know, the ways of thinking. Is that a part of it? Is that a part of this shaking up? Because it can be unnerving.
Absolutely. And terrifying and difficult and take us to the edges of ourselves. And yet that's exactly where, like that beautiful saying is, that's exactly where you learn to fly. You get to the edge of who you've been, and it can feel like you're being pushed off the edge. But what's happening is that this is a year of things turning, the turning points of our lives, the turning of the wheel. And it happens both quickly and slowly, right, Charmaine?
Mm,
That's what I felt when you said this. It's like we've been doing stuff, whether behind the scenes or unconsciously, to make changes in our lives, in ourselves. And then all of a sudden we realize, I feel the difference now. I feel that I have shifted and grown. Is that what
yes,
your experience
that's
has been at all?
exactly what it has been. And not just for me, because sometimes I think we divide ourselves in these cocoons and you isolate yourself and you don't realize that a lot more people are experiencing the same things that you are. So, one of the things that my soul tribe has experienced was relationships severing,
Yeah.
financial things coming up that you
Yeah.
have not experienced or anticipated, putting yourself in a position where you no longer feel the need to people please. So many of the things that we once did, we no longer do. How do we start that process of giving ourselves permission for the transformation? Because it almost
Mhm.
feels as though we're afraid to move, almost like a deer in the head, like, oh my God, one more damn prize, I'm just gonna fall apart. How do
Yeah.
we hold it together and then let spirit lead the path?
Well, this is where I think we're becoming these new versions of ourselves, where you could feel like it's becoming easier to
Mm,
trust spirit and that you are more enmeshed or you are embodying a new level of trust that you turn to more regularly. I think that we're moving away from, I'm going to call it mind control, where our minds have controlled the show. And that's what we've been taught. That's what education is about, right? That's where we go to live our lives. We go to our brains for answers, understanding, solutions. But as we're expanding, we're opening up to more of our intuition, more of our advanced abilities, more of our spiritual gifts. And we're pulling those in and we're navigating with them more often and more regularly. And I think that that's also a big part of why we feel different, Charmaine, because we're not only thinking and relying on our mind, we're understanding we are these big, beautiful, bright vessels composed of so many energies, and we're owning it. And I think that's a big part of why things are falling apart and why things are falling down. And it all comes down to like when your vibration changes too. It's related to some of the universal spiritual laws of the law of vibration. And when your
mm.
vibration changes, it's going to shake and crack what is no longer in alignment. And those are difficult changes. I'm not saying that's easy by any means, but there's things that are happening here that are energetic that our minds can't fully understand, but it's also validating our growth, how much we're growing, how much we're changing, and that it's right on time with the cosmic clock.
Oh, yes, I agree. Here's the thing that I understood about 2025. This is the numerological year of nine. So we
Yeah.
knew that this was a year of letting go. I started to play around with some things because I got curious about a law that Spirit put in my heart. The biggest rule to earth is know thyself. Know everything
Mm.
about yourself, from the nitty to the gritty, from the inside out, astrology, numerology, spirituality, everything. So one day I did my birthday, and lo and behold, the year I was born, my exact birthday is the universal year. So literally, I used to say to myself, now, Spirit, why every single time something happens, it happens to me first. And then it
Yeah.
feels like it happens to everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're a soul group leader, clearly. And you're meant to go first because that helps to open up the energy for others to follow. And there's also something that you're made to embody. I think about, how we always need that first pioneer to enter into the foreign territory to scope it out, to see what it's about. And then you can assist others on their path going through something similar. So I love that you made that connection for yourself, Charmaine.
Thank you. How often should we do these spiritual check-ins? Because number one, we don't want to create an environment of fear mongering. You'll find that in astrology and spirituality, people they judge up a lot of fear, and that
Yeah.
paralyzes people. That doesn't empower them. With
Yeah.
all of the changes that people are experiencing in your community and mine, guarantee you the top 10 are the same. Guaranteed.
Mm.
That being said, how do we empower people to plan ahead as best you can? Become more comfortable with this intuitive change that's going on. Because you're right, the currency of the world used to be that it was think, 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 work your way through the bag. And if you work your way through the
Mhm.
bag, on the other side of the bag, there's the prize. Now, spirit is saying that is no longer enough. You have overdeveloped your brains, you have overdeveloped your mind, and now there's something greater here to take over that spot. We all know what that is. It will be unrolled in about a year or so, so the whole world knows what it is. What else is left in the inner man? How do we connect the groups to the inner man that no matter what comes on this here planet, you are irreplaceable because you have connected with your inner self, and all of these changes is sharpening iron against iron. How do we get people to connect with that?
I think it's through a lot of experience of just doing it, of just trying it, of just having that willingness to be a little bit more courageous, a little bit more brave, to trust yourself a little bit more, knowing
Yes.
that you travel with safety. You travel with safety, you travel with the ability to figure it out. Whatever presents itself, whatever shows up, you will know what to do. You will have a solution or an option. And I think we're living too in more of the sense of timelessness. Like we're living more in these open energies that are moving so quickly that we have to be, living in the moment. So I guess I feel like what we're doing right now is really trusting all of our energy even more.
Yeah.
And we can only do that by doing it. It's experiential. You have to be doing it. It's not something you can just think about. So I think that's a big part of it. There can be a risk taking that people feel around it.
Oh, yes. And so basically, what you're saying is no longer can you read the book. You have to apply the science. This is no longer just sitting in your corner reading the Kabbalion, sweetheart. You have to apply the science. So all of this that we're experiencing right now is applied science. Now, here's the funny question I have for you, Molly. A lot of folks feel as though their world is constantly falling apart. How much of this is planetary and how much is this is personal?
Well, I see it through the lens of the soul growth journey, which is that you came here to have your personal experiences in the world that will require you to grow and evolve. And it's often at those points of things breaking down, collapsing, and challenging you that you're also being birthed into that next level. And this is part of 2025, the things you can't take with you. Now, we can talk about all this, right? But it's about, well, what does that look like when you don't have a job? When things you relied on are no longer stable and secure?
Come on,
When
come
you're
on.
in that survival mode of, okay, now what do I do? And these are very real things that are happening throughout 2025 and especially into 2027, because it's meant to get people on a truer path
Yes.
that is outside of the programming or conventional modes of living that we all have had. I would say that as a general overarching theme, Charmaine,
Hmm.
people are meant to move on to their individual paths that are more self-empowered. Less people are going to be working for companies. Less people are going to be in these big corporations. More people are going to be ushered into being entrepreneurs or self-employed or working with smaller groups of people. We're moving away from the big businesses that would take care of you for 30 years. We're moving into the era of the individual where it's knowing what you are good at, what you love, what you enjoy. That's where the universe wants you to move next.
Yes, yes. And here's the thing that I can appreciate. What I can appreciate is the fact that with all of that, I know it can sound daunting, but who this message is for you. Whoever this message reaches and it pierces your soul, it's for you. I'm going to tell you why. Because it comes a time when you can no longer give people milk, you got to give them meat. This is the meat. There's no time for eating baby food right now. Those days have come and gone. Okay?
Mhm.
This is a time to keep it 100. It is not the time to sit in a space and a place and allow yourself to feel hopeless and as though there is no space, there's no hope, there is no love, there is none of this. All of these changes are coming because clearly we are strong enough to hold the mantle. This is no time for us to worry, have fear, anxiety, frustration, irritation, or aggravation, because that does not help. What is it in us that spirit is calling out? The universe always makes a way for its own. What is
Yeah.
spirit saying with all of these transformations that we need to hold on to in order to connect to the greatest self? Because the greatest
Mm,
self, I learned, Molly, comes with a very quiet
mm.
sound. It's a still voice, almost like anxiety and frustration to come up, and then this stillness just comes out of nowhere.
Mhm.
How do we teach people to really start integrating that? Because think about it, you lose your job. First thing you think about is how you gonna pay your bills, how you gonna feed the
Totally.
children. You understand what I'm saying? You go ahead and you tell
Absolutely.
somebody tells themselves, you tell a person, you could be an entrepreneur, you could be a this, you could be a that. But if I don't see that in me,
Yeah.
then this message is going to be for you in your future. How do we talk to the people for right now who are ready today?
So part of what the energies are bringing forth is that we have to take a more active role and participation in what we really want, and to not think we have to settle for what we can get or what we have to accept. So we have to be ready to say, this is what I want, and I'm going to stand in line right here because this is who I am. This is what I'm good at. This is what I'm going to create. There is an empowerment here with these changes, but it's requiring us to be very honest with calling it out and saying, what it's like asking, what do you want? And you can't just say, I don't know. I'll take any job that will get me through. What you want to do is think about, if the universe can deliver to you and co-create with you exactly the dreams you have, exactly the life you want, what are you ready to claim? What are you claiming? Because a lot of people have felt like, well, I can't do that, or I don't know if that's
Mm,
possible, or I don't think that's going to happen to me. But
mm.
this is the energy revving up, and the universe is saying, I will meet you there. And so
Yes.
I feel too like, and I have I'm very realistic, Charmaine. I get it. Like, there's a lot of fear when we lose a job, when we're worried about finances. There's a lot we worry about. And I think about the energies right now could bring about something that you just do for the time being. Like, you take
Yes.
that side gig, or you do something to hustle, like the Uber or Lyft or whatever. I'm just thinking off the top of my head, like things you can do today to make ends meet. In fact, I was in a major city, and the Uber driver was a man who used to be an engineer. And he and his wife are now full-time Uber drivers. They're no longer engineers. Like, they totally changed their life. They changed their whole lifestyle because
Hmm.
of 2020, because of the whole 2020 energy. So they lost the security of that engineering
Hmm.
profession that they both had, and they moved into something else that opened up more than they thought they could have ever wanted. So, just a random example off the top of my head, that the universe is going to give you choices. Okay. There's going to be choices. There's always choices. And we're going to have to be ready to make moves when necessary to do what you got to do. But I feel like what's happening is that people they're going to be surprised at what shows up when they fully participate in what they want and what they're really claiming.
You know what,
It's like
Molly? I think you're right.
the energies here are fast moving. So it's like, if you have felt stuck for a while, things can change on a dime.
Mm. Come on, Lord. Listen, you know what's
Yeah.
so funny? Molly, I know you're right. I'm going to tell you why I know you're right, because I'm witnessing it. So here's what Spirit has showed me. To the degree in which you participate is the bounty in which you receive.
Love it.
So if you've gone through the fire, you've done it, blood, sweat, and tears, you stayed loyal, honest, and true. You never faltered on your morals, your values, your integrities, your dignities, and you did it right. You did it right. You get to keep the bounty. You earned it. But it's so many of us are looking for a miracle. and have no discipline. The one thing I will tell you I have learned is that anything worth having is worth working for. You ever notice a
Mm.
child that get all the time? They don't appreciate nothing. You give them all the time, give them all the time. Come on, baby, come on, let's go out to eat. Used to be, I was raised by grandmothers. So my grandmother's eating out was a treat. They cooked all
Yeah.
the time. And so, come on, baby, come on, baby. And then after a while, you're starting to see that that child doesn't value those privileges. I think we've gotten to a societal place worldwide where we have forgotten how to be thankful, how to be grateful. The things that are coming up in our lives, we can't even see the synchronicities you're talking about, that they're
Mhm.
starting to transform and trickle in. Can't even see it because they're not the big kaboom you was looking
Right.
for. How do,
Right.
yes, how do we bring that to the macro so people can pay attention?
Yes. Yes. And that's even just noticing on a daily basis the tiny miracles or the small synchronicities that are showing up for you that will also grow and expand. But it is in, sometimes it's the minutia can have a lot of wonder and a lot of like, wow, that was amazing that this just aligned or this just happened for me. And I think what I love that you're saying here, Charmaine, is that when we shift our perspective and we have more of a willingness to see the everyday miracles, then we start to believe it. And when we start to believe it, that affects our belief systems. And when we have that in our belief systems, then we create more of that because everything in our lives that we experience stems from our belief system. It's why if you don't think anything good is going to happen to you, that's the energy you're sending out. That's what you're believing. So that's what is going to be affirmed for you.
Come on now.
Whereas if you believe you are here to experience miracles, small and grand, you're here to have an amazing experience every day, however that presents, you're going to have that belief system that the world dazzles you and that things always work out in your favor. Things always are supporting you. So think about that as just a shift in your belief systems that everything is working in your favor now. Everything in your life is supporting you now. If you can really see it in that way,
Yep.
it changes the trajectory of what you create and what then you call in.
And you know, not only that, Molly, I'll expound on that. I'll expound on that, sweetheart. I would say not only how you bring it in, but long time ago, old folks used to say it wasn't what you did, it's how you did it. So let's say, for argument's sake, Molly likes steak. Molly said, girl, I'm coming to the sea, child. We gonna have a good time. I said, come on, Molly girl, we gonna have a good time. I'm gonna go ahead and barbecue. What kind of steak you like? And you came to me, you said, Charmaine, I like it medium rare. I like it with salt, pepper, bell peppers, onions, mushrooms. Girl, hook it up. I said, okay, Molly, you want something to baked potato? You want a little sour cream? You said, yeah, girl, put it in there. A little salt, pepper, everything. Hook it up. So I sent it to you. I got it. It smelled good. And I put it on the trash can lid. It's the food you asked for now. I made it the way you wanted it. I even gave it to you just the way you asked. But I put it on the trash can lid because why? That is exactly how we materialize things. So if you're looking for the blessing, baby, it's not enough to just want it. You got to want it with the right attitude. You got to want it with the right attitude. Because if not, all you're doing is presenting things on a trash can lid.
And I want that steak and I want that. So you tell me what time to show up because I will be.
Girl, I got you, boo. Girl, I got you.
Eat off the trash can lid. I don't care. I'm grateful you made the food.
Molly, we love you. We can't do you like that, girl. That's not right. That is not right. We can't do you like that, girl. People out here in Tennessee, we don't do folks like that. See, we down south. We know how to treat folks. You understand what I'm saying? We love people around here. You understand? But I love the fact that we can appreciate seeing the bigger picture. It's
Yeah.
not enough to just want. You have to want and plant it in solid soil, a proper foundation for when it does grow, is
Yes.
growing in a strong way, a bountiful way. Because, see, that's what I think. Sometimes we think manifestation means overnight. Baby, the world was not created overnight.
No. There's some things that happen quickly, right? It comes right around the corner and shows up. But there's other things that are coming through at a slower pace, which is also for our best and highest good, because there's things that we have to trust along the way. Like trust is a never ending muscle that we have to develop. We have to keep that faith, and we have to know that even if it doesn't show up right now, it shows up in divine timing. I feel too that we're living in this convergence zone of so many timelines interacting
Mm.
that it's harder to maybe precisely predict when something arrives, but it's still on its way. It's still
Oh, yeah.
coming through. It's still going to show up. It just can happen through multiple different avenues and potentials. So I think that we're in such a big time here, Charmaine, in 2025, that it's important to not lose hope and to not lose faith, but to invest in yourself, to remember that you came here to play this game, to have this experience, that you came with everything you need. So what do you need to give yourself to strengthen, who you are in this moment?
Here's the funny thing. What I give myself a hike. I go into my nearest state park, and on Sundays I listen to my gospel music and I go on my hikes. And sometimes I have invite my girlfriend or my husband will come, or we'll do a family hike. And sometimes for my store, um, I'll have a Soul Tribe hike. So we'll invite all of the Soul Tribe to meet. It's a beautiful lake. It's gorgeous. I say all of that to say, you hit that on the head. Some of us are working from empty cups. We forget the importance of filling the cup, because you cannot hear God's voice when you are literally running on E. You cannot. It is
Yeah.
impossible. How do we encourage a society of people, light workers, healers, seers, dreamers, empaths, etc.? How do we encourage Soul Tribe to really pour into themselves, because quite soon they will be pouring into others?
Yes. And we have such a service mindset, like a willingness to extend ourselves, to give, to offer. Let me help you. Let me be there for you. What do you need? And yet we know that we have to give to ourselves in order to give to another. And I feel that that's part of the balance that's required, is that we have to be honest with ourselves of like, I've been doing way too much for other people. And not only is that exhausting me, that isn't allowing them to develop the skills they need or to stand on their own with this or get stronger in this way. And it's the whole, you can care, don't carry, care, don't care, but know when to pull it back in and have stronger boundaries that honor your energy and what is best for you. And that can change every day. You could have days when you just feel like you have so much to give, and then days when you're like, I've got nothing. I'm at zero. I'll talk to you tomorrow, So I feel like we have to be very honest with ourselves and check in on our own energies first.
And I think that's it. I think it's right there. My Aunt Velma, God rest her soul, she used to have a saying. One day I called my Aunt Velma and I'm whining, complaining. I'm a young wife and mother and things. And I'm Aunt Velma, and And she said to me, she said, Charmaine, now you like your Aunt Velma. Your feet are the first pair of feet to hit the floor in the morning and the last pair of feet to go to bed at night. You buy your shoes first. Come on now.
Love that.
Come on
Yes.
now. That's what it is.
Yep. Exactly. And so we have to honor our own self-responsibility and honor that is something to put at the top of the list, not the bottom of the list.
That's right.
And to not feel guilty about that.
Yes. And here's the thing that I can appreciate as we traverse and move through all of these changes: understand and recognize that you're only getting stronger. Nothing is happening to you. Everything is happening with you and for you. So with these understandings, Soul Tribe, I want us all to really connect to how we move forward. Molly, what are some food for the soul that you can give to the soul tribe that's going to fill their cups about this 2025 shakeup, that's going to guide them in a path and in a way where maybe they start opening up the mind even more to seeing realities from a totally different perspective? Let's fill our cups, Molly. Fill us up, girl.
That's a lot. Yep. So I would say one of our best teachers can be hindsight. And if you were to look back on the past 5 years of your life and what has changed on our planet and in our world, in our families, in our homes, how would you recognize yourself? Like, look at what you've handled well. Look at how you've adjusted, how you learn to swerve and curve and do what you need to do. Look at what you have been able to shift and change, and know that those same skills that you've been applying, that you've been using over the past 5 years, are also going to be developed and used over the next 5 years. And as we move through the next 5 years of this decade, there's going to be more big changes on our planet. Things that we can't even foresee or comprehend at this time. And I don't mean that in a scary way. I just mean like we're in a very dynamic decade of change. And so you will have what you need. You will always have what you need to get through because you've gotten to this point. And the astrology is one of further self-empowerment of the individual. And so as we were talking about, Charmaine, it is investing in yourself. It is prioritizing your energy. It's knowing that when you do that from a full cup, obviously you can pour into others. But there's also something here where you're going to maybe even feel like you're more supported than others, than ever, more supported than ever, because the universe is going to be bringing in these fast moving dynamic changes that will, it looks like clarity, but I feel like it's something you've always known. I think we're going to have some big times of personal validation. I knew this dream had my name on it. I knew this was possible for me. I am ready for this next level of my life. I am ready to be this next version of myself. This is meant to be energy that takes you beyond what you thought was possible for your life. I feel it's going to be changing what you've carried maybe for your ancestors and your family lineage. I feel like it's going to change what you thought you would experience in this life. So I know that can sound like a lot of hyperbole, but what I feel, Charmaine, is that we're moving into territory that is requiring us to be more intentional, more self-empowered, and to be more aware that we are beautifully partnering with the universe to create what we want. I really feel that. I really feel that's possible for people. And I understand how the challenges, blockages, and limitations are really difficult. But what I was taught by one of my mentors is like, that's when you get closer to God. That's when you get closer to spirit.
Come on now.
And you get closer to the bigger energy that's always traveling with you.
Oh, wow. Well, listen, sweetheart, when you don't have to put a cherry on nothing, you could just wrap that up with a bow. Because listen, we don't add to and we don't take away. That was perfect. Everyone, thank you for joining me and Molly McCord. We have really grown as a people when nothing is dividing us and everything is bringing us to the same conclusion that it is time for us all to spiritually grow and evolve.
Yeah.
I'm so excited, y'all. I hope this has filled your cup. Peace and love, y'all.
I'm Auntie Charmaine, and I am a constant reminder to our tribe to connect mind, body, and soul as we talk everything spirituality, everything herbalism, and all amazing things in between. I am the auntie of the community. Peace and love, y'all. This is Soultribe Media, where your spiritual journey comes alive. A media movement rooted in empowerment, enlightenment, and elevation. Join me for a day in the life with Auntie as I bring you along on these sacred journeys and gaining everyday wisdom. Read our latest publication at OK Universe I Hear You as we keep it real, tell the truth, and go through our healing with real talk. Listen in on the latest Soultribe podcast episode as we give voice to spiritual growth and divine timing. Read the latest publication of BNP Chronicles as we talk all things astrology, numerology, holistic wellness, and mindful practices. Come and sit with us as we have Sunday morning messages with Auntie, as we talk enlightenment, one auntie to one niece or nephew. Join us for our TikTok live show with me, Auntie Charmaine, as we build that sacred community in motion, one amazing conversation at a time. Let me explain something to you, sweetheart. You have entered an amazing space that is going to keep you full and get you the enlightenment that you're seeking. Welcome to Soultribe Media.